Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're testing out 10 newly released planes in AM4. I have had the chance to fly them, so I'm excited to see how they perform and what makes them stand out. Let's jump right in. Here we are in Airline Manager 4. I will be reviewing the planes based on the factors shown right here. My seat layout will be 85% economy, 10% business class and 5% first class. So now let's get about the planes. The first plane we're going to be reviewing is the A350F. This plane is the only freighter we will be reviewing today. And here is the A350F. As you can see, it's quite far down. Here it is. The delivery time will be 5 hours, so we will need to wait for that. But I'm going to buy all the planes right now. And I will come back later to review them all. So let's do this. Let's just do it 25% on both of these. It will in total be around $62 million. So let's order this plane. I will order it to Oberreis, where I will be delivering all my planes. This is the only engine that you can put on this plane. So let's press order. And for our next plane we will be the Honda Jet. As you see, the Honda Jet is the fourth plane on this list. For this configuration I will just do the economy. Because as you can see, if we need one first class, we need to bring it all the way back to here. And then we have just 111. That's not a very good configuration. So for this one I will make an exception and just 6 economy instead of the 85% economy. So the price on this stays the same at $100,000. Let's order this one also. And the next plane will be the VC10. If you order and search for VC10, you can see right here is the Vickers 10. Let's set it to orange so you don't forget later. For the configuration, around 80% will be right here probably. 120. 5 first class. Let's do 5 first class. Maybe we can do a bit more business class. I think this would be quite alright. So in total it will cost $4.6 million. 5 hours of delivery time, so we also need to wait for this. Let's order it and let's see how this will perform in later. Up next we have the G700. Let's order the G700. Let's search G700. And here's a Gulfstream G700. Just a bit less delivery time, just 35 minutes. Set it to orange start. Let's check the configuration for this. The configuration for this I can work with. Let's just do one business class. One first class. And then let's do 2 business class. As you can see, if I move this one, I get 11 economy and 2 business class, and here 12 economy and 2 business class. You need to make sure that you have the highest amount of seats possible if you use these configurations. So in total, this will be $670,000. Let's order this one also. And now let's go to the next plane. Another quite expensive one, the A350-900 ultra long range. This one I can easily move the configuration with. Let's just do right here should be around 80. Let's just do 200 so it's nice and beautiful, nice and round number. And let's just do this one, I think. Yes, let's set it around 10 first class. Yes, this looks like a okay configuration for me. In total it will be 91. It's a bit cheaper actually than the 92 million we had earlier. That's very nice. Let's order this one. And for our next plane we have the Viscount. Let's directly search up the Viscount. This is the Viscount. I've never seen this plane before. That's why I wanted to include this plane right here. This plane has a solid delivery time, just 1 hour 17 minutes. No other engine options. Let's check the configuration for this. Configuration for this is also easily workable. Let's just do, let's see, 5 first class maybe. Yes, 5 first class. And then 10 business class, 40 economy class would be nice for this. Let's just order this plane also. I don't even know why this plane is here in the passenger carrier for Airline Manager 4. This would probably be more in the cargo variant. But still, we're going to check this out today. I've never seen this plane. That's why I wanted to fly this plane. Let's set it to arrive start. The configuration for this, as you can see, there are seats in this plane. So let's just make this plane a first class in this military plane. This is just 7 first class. I think that should be nice. Maybe 10 business class. One thing I see off the bat is a very short runway requirement. That's probably why this is a military plane. Very cheap, just 2.2 million. That's all this plane. On to the last plane. This is the Space Jet. We have 2 different kinds of Space Jet. But I think this one is just a way better option overall. It has more range, same speed, more passengers and less fuel consumption while it's cheaper. So you should definitely buy the Space Jet. I think if you should want to buy a Space Jet. Today we're going to test out if the Space Jet is also good to buy. And if you should just buy another plane instead of this. This plane is now in just economy 3.3 million. Configuration is also quite workable, not like the 6 we had with the Honda Jet, but the Honda Jet is the very cheapest plane, just the fourth cheapest plane. So let's just do 6, not 7 first class, 10 business class then. This should be alright. Hopefully we can make it. Yes, this looks alright. Alright, start, yes. Order this plane. Also 5 hours wait for this small plane. The CU919 is the next plane. This is actually a real new plane. North Philips has flown this actually. This is a new plane from China. 6.5 million Airline Manager 4. Let's change the configuration of this. There's just one engine, the LEAP 1C. And with the change configuration, it will be 6.7 million. Also 5 hours of delivery time, so that's all this plane. And for a Lex plane, we have the 777X. As you can see, there are lots of 777. This is the newest plane they had, I believe. I've never even seen this plane here in Airline Manager 4. So the GE9X engine. Let's go to the configuration. And let's change this configuration. And I thought that this plane will also have not that changed much of the price. As you see, just $500,000 above the price if we change the configuration. So let's order all these planes. Order. And that were all the 10 planes ordered. Now we need to wait for these planes to arrive. And I will see you when all the planes have arrived. It's probably 5 hours. After the planes have arrived, I will be using the research tool to send the plane to the location with the furthest airport the plane can go, so we can equally compare the profits on both planes. Let's just start off with the A350 freighter. This one is not that easy to compare. That is because this is the only freighter plane we have. As you can see, here's a freighter plane. The race is 9,225, so let's do that. Weer in oranje staat. The max distance is 9250. The minimum requirements for the runway is 8760. I know I'm on easy mode, so I don't need it, but I will be doing this just for the people who are realism. The third and the third is in Ukraine leave. Let's just search for the, let's see, I don't even know what the plane is called. Ukraine leave. So let's just open up our A350 freighter. And let's set it to Ukraine and then leave. Here it is. Let's do next. This price will be around $660,000. This will be the price, the auto price. Let's create this route. And it will take around 7 hours and 10 minutes. If you depart this, we can see we get around $800,000 back. So we will need quite a lot of flights to earn this back. I think around 70 flights to earn all this back, because this plane has cost $62 million in total. So let's get to the next plane. The next plane will be the Honda Jet. Let's search research from Aruba Oranje. And the Honda Jet has a max distance of 2700. And for the requirement just 2000. I think it already was 2000. That is quite close. United States of Columbus. One Papa Hotel 192 would probably be good. Yes, that's a Honda Jet, as you can see. Auto price. This will cost just $4,000. Very cheap. Let's create this route. Yes, this is the route. Let's depart this plane. And for this plane we have just earned under $4,000. This plane has a cruise speed of 782 knots. The max distance, as you can see, 2,700. This price of this plane was just $100,000. With just 6 pounds of fuel consumption per hour. And the runway requirement for this plane is 2000. I forget to tell you this, but for the freighter here, the Airbus freighter, that cruise speed is 860 knots. Max distance 9,500. The price I already told you. The fuel consumption is 15.98 and the runway required is 8760. So let's get to the next plane. The next plane is the VC10. If you click on research, let's see. The VC10 has a max distance of 9410 and the runway requirement 7500 feet. Let's do it for Orijstad. And we go to Belarus Minsk. I already have a route of that, as you can see right here. Oh no, I don't have a route from Orijstad to Minsk. Yes, this is a Vickers private jet, so I don't think this will generate a lot of money for how much we paid for this. We paid 4.6 million for this. The cruise speed is 921 knots. The max distance is 9410 with a fuel consumption of 13 pounds per hour. And the runway height is 7,500 feet. Let's set the auto price. $250,000 to create a route. And if you depart it, we get $300,000 back. And the next plane is the G700. If you click research, max distance of the G700 is 13900. Minimum requirement is 5700 for the runway. Let's search for this. And we could go to Japan, Matsumoto. This is a very cheap route creation, just 50,000, so I don't imagine this plane making a lot of money. This plane has a cruise speed of 938 knots. This is quite a lot. Max distance is also almost 40,000, which is very good. Price was quite cheap, just 670,000. Fuel consumption is just 9 pounds per hour. And minimum requirement is, as you just saw, 5,700. Let's create this route to see how much this plane will earn us. This plane will earn us 69,000, very nice. The A350 Freighter is the next plane. If you could research, A350 Freighter has a max distance of 18000. Minimum requirement is 8760. If you search for this, this is for the A350-900 ultra long range. We can go to Brunei. This is exactly 80,000 kilometers away. Let's create this route for the A350-900 ultra long range. This one is more expensive to create the route, as you can see, almost 1 million, but I think we'll earn it back in just a few flights. This plane has a cruise speed of 848 knots. Has a max distance of 18000 as you just saw. It cost 91 million, quite a lot actually. Fuel consumption is 30.16 and the runway height is 8760. Let's subtract it. Then we get almost 1.1 million. So we need 90 flights to earn all money back, so this plane is just free money then. And now for the viscount, we also Oranjestad. You can see viscount 3040, quite short distance. It just costs 1 million, so you would expect that. The minimum requirement is quite large for such a cheap plane actually. As you can see, we're going to go to Baltimore International. I don't have any route to that. This plane has 491 knots per hour cruise speed. It's a max distance of 3040 as you see right here. Fuel consumption is quite expensive, 24 pounds per kilometer. And runway required is 5282. And let's see, we earn 60,000 for this. That's not that much, but still for what it is, it's quite good. Now onto this plane, I did not even expect a military plane to be on this list. You see here is the C-130 Hercules. This is a military plane, so I don't know why it's on a passenger list. But let's just see. This has a max distance of 3800, also not that far. But the runway requirement is very good. It's the lowest runway requirement we have from here. If you search for it, you can see Milwaukee. It's quite cheap to fly there actually, just 66,000. Let's create this route. And if we depart it, we get 93,000 back. It's just cool to have a military plane in your passenger fleet. That's what I find very cool. I did think this would be more of a cargo variant instead of passenger variant, but still it's quite cool. And now we're on to the Spacious. The Spacious has a max distance of 3770, but for Oranjestad. And it is 5710. I picked this plane because it's a very, very fast cruise speed, 1100 knots, very good. We can go to Lawton. If we go on the SpaceJet, as you see, this plane has 12 pounds per kilometer of fuel consumption. It costs 3.5 million, also $66,000 to create this route. And we get around $90,000 back. And the next plane will be a plane a lot of you have never flight on. This is C919. This is a newly released plane with China. 5555 was the max distance with runway requirement 5200. And you can go to Bakersfield with this plane. It is a little bit expensive than the other planes. As you see, almost $200,000. If you depart this plane, we do get $200,000 back. This plane also has a relatively low fuel consumption, is 11.44 pounds per kilometer. And the last plane we will be giving a route will be the 777-9X. This is actually my 200th plane I have bought. Let's just research and see how far this plane can go. This plane can go quite far, 14500, with a minimum requirement of 9,000. Let's search for this. And we can go to China. Let's create this route. Almost 1 million to create this route even, so I'm hoping it will be more than that when we depart the plane. If we depart the plane, yes, we get $1.3 million back, so that's very nice. The fuel consumption of this plane is quite high, to 1.56 pounds per kilometer. with it also has a very big range, so we can fly to countries very far away. I will be calculating for each plane how many times you need to fly to make a profit, and even being generous by not including the fuel prices or the crew salary. As you see here, I've made an overview, and I know it looks like a lot, but I will break it down for you, don't worry. On the top row you see what plane it is, pretty self-explanatory. One row below that you see the cruise speed these planes have. After that you can see the range of this plane, this is in kilometers, just as the game does it. Then after that we have the price of the plane, quite straightforward. The consumption is the fuel consumption the plane has, this is in pounds per kilometer, the game's choice. Then we have the minimum runway length, this is only for people on normal mode. On easy mode, don't need to worry about runway length. Revenue is how much the plane makes per flight. And after that we see how much times the plane needs to fly to break even, so the plane is paid off. So what plane do I recommend? Well, that kind of depends on what kind of plane you want. If you want short runway requirements, you should definitely go for the C-130. This is the runway requirement of 1200. If you want a plane that makes money very fast, you should go for the 777-9X. This plane makes $1.3 million every flight. However, it does take 70 flights to pay the plane off. If you want to have a plane that get paid off very quickly, you should do the VC-10 or the G700. Both need 40 flights to be paid off. If you should choose between one of those two, I should choose for the VC-10. The VC-10 is around 4 times more money, but also 4 times more expensive than a G700. Out of these planes, I would not recommend the A350 Freighter because it takes almost 80 flights to break even. And with a 777X, you need 70 flights and earn way more money. So, out of this list, what is your favorite plane?